Hello everyone, welcome to Crypto Sensible. In today's video, we'll be comparing gold to Bitcoin. As you might have heard different kind of arguments, some people are claiming that Bitcoin is going to replace gold as the most preferred asset globally, and some people who are against this view who are saying that Bitcoin has no physical value and it can never replace gold and very soon it will just disappear. So let's start off looking at both sides of the discussion by first looking at what makes gold so special. So if we go back some thousand years, we'll realize how gold evolved. Before there was any currency, people used to follow the barter system, which is exchanging goods and services, for example paying for services through grains or goods you've produced like pottery, these kind of things. But slowly it got more complex. For example, when civilizations developed and they had to pay their workers and soldiers in their armies, it became more cumbersome to give their salaries in big sacks or carts of grains. So, and also what added to the complexity was once they started trading with other civilizations. Suppose if the Roman civilization had to purchase Chinese silk or Chinese porcelain and vases, they had to find a way and agree upon what will be a good currency to act as a mediator. This is where gold evolved because gold was accepted as a valuable asset across the globe, and there was a demand for it across all the civilizations. And slowly, people started printing their own coins and exchanging it for value, whether it's within the same country or across the countries. And gold has remained as the most stable global assets ever since. Because over the time, there were several currencies. Earlier, there were cowrie shells. Some people used salt as a exchanging currency. Some people even used stone wheels, but they came and they went. And similarly, now we see that fiat currencies like dollars, pounds, euro have gained more popularity, but gold still retains its value as a quality asset. Now, let's look at how Bitcoin compares with this. There are a lot of people who support Bitcoin and they say that this is going to prove to be the most valuable asset and it will soon replace gold as the most bankable and dependable assets. The arguments they present is that Bitcoin has a very limited supply. So, like gold, it is a very precious element in that sense that despite once we complete the mining, there will never be more than 21 million of Bitcoin in circulation. And the actual number a lot of people say is much lesser because a lot of Bitcoins have been lost, which they are not able to trace now. And other factor for this is that just like gold, this is a global standard that once you have a local currency, there are some certain aspects like fees, exchange rates. You have to consider some of the currencies might be acceptable within a zone, but not of value outside. But Bitcoin, they say, will be a global standard. It'll have the same value everywhere, and you can use it to purchase all the things you want, irrespective of which country you are and where you want to buy the product. And another factor which they say is a benefit of Bitcoin is the ease of use and storage. It can be easily stored within your hardware wallet, whether you're using Trezor or Ledger or any other new variety. And there's no constraint in space. You can store potentially millions of Bitcoins in a single device. And also the transactions are very simple and fast. This, they say, give it an edge over gold because, if you store a large amount of gold, you have to be careful what kind of vault you store it, whether you store it at your house or you store it at a secured facility, what kind of security arrangements you made, and there'll always be a risk that, somebody might try to steal it and you'll have to arrange for some security arrangements. However, at the same time, there are some people who criticize Bitcoin that it can never replace gold or the fiat currencies and it doesn't have a real future because they say there is a serious risk of loss and hacking because there have been so many attempts at hacking Bitcoin, so many popular exchanges have been hacked. And another challenge they say is that if you lose your seed key and the device, then it's practically impossible to recover your Bitcoin. So it's very easy that if you've stored a large amount of Bitcoin on a device and you suddenly lose the seed and the device, then there's no way you're going to recover it, and it's just a sudden loss, which will not happen so easily if you're holding a physical asset like say gold or some fiat currency at your home. The other criticism of Bitcoin is that it doesn't have a physical existence. For example, if you compare it to gold, when you have gold and you have the choices whether you want to keep it as a currency, some people like to use it as ornaments or jewelry, and there are different uses. And this gives them the comfort that you can physically touch and feel it, it exists, and it's just not something imaginary which only exists in the digital world and it might just disappear someday. Uh, so overall, I would say that gold will still remain as a alternative currency because it has sustained for so many thousands of years. It'll probably stay around for several thousand more years. But at the same time, Bitcoin would also create its own space because of the benefit it offers and the advantages it has over gold. But how successful Bitcoin eventually will be, we'll probably get to know over the coming years, and a lot will depend on the adoption and usage because how gold evolved was acting as a mediator between all the barter systems between exchange of different products. A major factor would be how popular Bitcoin becomes as a means of transactions, our day-to-day use, how much people are using it, and whether they find it as a useful means of transaction or not. Okay, so if you like the content and you would like to stay tuned with further videos, do subscribe to the channel, and I'd love to hear your feedback about how did you find this video. Thank you.